Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to D&V Investigations, where we have a little less D, but a whole lot of balls. I'm Vicky. Hey, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm hoping that this is all good. I have no idea. Yes, it is. Okay. I double-checked. Hello. Uh, Greetings, Colonel Morg. We have our fake producer in the house this evening, which is always nice. Thank you. So, it's been a week. We've had Tug finally getting his ass sued. Oh, am I so excited for this? Oh, it's gonna be good. We have descriptions of the body cam footage from Nick Rekieta's house when the police had to bust down his door. Very exciting. Ish. I'm more interested in the way they describe everything and how horrific it sounds inside of the house. We already know what happened when they walked through. The ComicsGate Live returned this week, and man, did they put people on notice about what it's going to be like going forward in ComicsGate. And then, of course, we have Liam. Not a topic that I've talked about much, but this was just fucking egregious. Excuse my language. You can't go around doing that, Liam. I know, but we'll get to that later. I think tonight we're gonna go ahead and start with the lawsuit against Tug because man, this is just too much goodness. I don't know much about What the Hales. I have not followed that drama. I know our friend Stu does. And so I got a hold of him and I was talking to him. And you know, Jeremy Hales sounds a lot like Tug if Tug had that big a channel. Yeah. Everything Tug has been pulling for the last 6 years in Weeb Wars and ComicsGate, the lies, the bullshit for self-promotion, the accusations of illegal activity that he just throws at people like it's fucking nothing. And believe me, I know I've been on the receiving end of a lot of it. I have been accused of swatting Tug. I have been accused of reporting him to CPS. I have been accused of stalking his children. Lola called his wife, now his ex-wife, called me a map. Like, there is nothing that man has not thrown my way, and it's all bullshit. He never shows proof of anything. It's smoke and mirrors. He sold his first book off the back of Renfamous. Yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers that far back, but man, his first book he sold going after and harassing Renfamous. His second book he sold going after me and SJW Captain America. He doxed a midget. And I mean that. That man put our good friend Gotham Knight through shit that was unbelievable. He doxed him. He created a fake Twitter account about him. Like, man, that's just everything. And it's all the stuff that's in this lawsuit. It's all the same behavior. Only now that dumb fuck, he went and picked somebody who's an attorney. She's a non-practicing attorney, right? Who works with her husband, who's a practicing attorney. She's got time. She can write this shit sitting at home watching Netflix. And Tug decides that he's going to do the same goddamn shit? Come on, man. I'm so glad you're as dumb as I thought you were. And let me just explain like a little bit about Tug that a lot of people don't get. There was shit that happened that nobody knows about. There were gay ops during Weeb Wars that most of ComicsGate never heard about. He tried to gay op to get the uh, Vic Mignogna, and I never say his name right, and I don't really care. Vic the Sex Pest. GoFundMe. He claimed it was under attack so that people would go and donate more. Rackets knew about it. Yellow Flash knew about it. He doxed people. He doxed himself. Created fake accounts harassing people. Accused Gotham Knight of revenge porn. Does anybody remember that? We covered it here on the channel a ways, maybe not this one, but we covered it a ways back. No, it wasn't Gotham Knight. It was a different young man. Very nice young man whose name I can't remember at the moment. But he and Lola were having a sexting relationship that Tug knew about. And then Tug needed to sell his fucking book. So he goes on Twitter claiming how there's this guy who's going around just DMing his dick pic to people. And it turns out, yeah, Lola got a dick pic from the guy she'd been sexting forever. Told him how pretty it was. And wanted all of us to believe that this guy was just sexually harassing people. And that fucked that poor kid up, too, man. Fucked him in the head. Yeah. And Lola posted revenge porn of this poor kid. I mean, that's just, those two, man. I know they're divorced now, but the two of them in concert, and now he's got Megan Fox, the fake fucking journalist that used to work for, I guess used to work for, maybe still does, Pajamas Media. Yeah. I remember when Tug threatened to kill Spectre with a hammer. I was kind of on board with that, Spectre, no offense. Sorry. I mean, lots of stuff happened. And most egregious of all was something that I started paying attention to when he was on Nick Rekieta during the Amber Heard trial, right? He started going around, he said it on Nick's stream. It was weird that he was a mental health professional. So they're all asking him questions, like questions about psychology and what can be going on. And he kept dodging the questions, right? I'm like, why the fuck is this man dodging these questions? Well, it turns out, no matter how many times he says it on Twitter, that he diagnosed thousands of people with PTSD and mental health professional, he's disgusted by the way that the psychiatrists and the psychologists handled things in the Amber Heard trial. Well, that man who most recently tweeted at Viva Frey during the Nick Rekieta thing about Nick Rekieta's mental health doesn't hold a license in the state of Tennessee to do anything that has to do with diagnosing anybody. He doesn't have an RN. He doesn't have a doctorate. That man doesn't have he might have those things, but he certainly does not have a professional license to be diagnosing anybody with anything. Maybe he just pushed a broom. I don't know. As Colonel Morg says, it would have been more appropriate to ask him about how to move furniture around instead of mental health. Because at one point he was working as a mover. Yeah. I mean, mental health and comic books. Hey there, Kay Brady. How are you tonight? Hey. We don't even know that he is a social worker. We know that through the grapevine, and this is just, speculative mostly, is that he met Lola when Lola, or Ashley, I should say, was, I don't know, in her late teens, somewhere around like 16, something like that. Um, oh gosh, I've read some of Pornosaurus Rex. Sorry, this is Mandy's novella. Um, and that girl doesn't know a verb tense to save her goddamn life. But I'll do it for cheap. My going rate for reading is about $20 an hour. No, just kidding. You can always DM me. Um, but yeah, they Tug is another one that would post pictures of his kids on Twitter and then call you a child stalker if you pointed out that he kept saying that his kids were in danger, but he's putting their pictures all over social media. But he's certainly not a mental health professional at all. Spectre says he thinks someone found out he was an orderly at a mental hospital, which would make sense. Like I said, pushing a broom. Pushing a broom. Well, it turns out now Matthew Lewis is finally getting his ass sued. And goodness gracious, it couldn't get much better. So, he is being sued by, and I'm sorry if I butcher her last name. Portuguese is not my native language. Leslie Federigos. He's being sued along with Jeremy Hales, Elephant Shoe LLC, Martha George, Riz, Jason Hipster, Megan Fox, John Doe, aka that umbrella guy. Uh, yeah. And so this is the First Amendment complaint. The first complaint was already accepted by the court. The court scheduled trial. She was just suing Jeremy Hales. Megan Fox and that umbrella guy got added into with this First Amendment complaint. It's an action for damages in excess of $75,000 exclusive of interest, costs, and attorney's fees, and is within the jurisdiction of the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida. Venue is proper in Orange County, Florida, because the acts and omissions give rise to those claims occurred in substantial part in this county, as the action took place in Orange County, Florida. Now, the first thing we have to figure out as we're looking at this, and I have a personal interest in defamation and libel lawsuits, in case you haven't, in case you don't know. So I went ahead and I looked at the jurisdiction statutes in Florida, and what we get is a person, whether or not a citizen or resident of the state, who personally or through an agent does any of the acts enumerated in this subsection, thereby submits himself or herself, and if he or she is a natural person, his or her personal representative, to the jurisdiction of the courts of this state for any cause of action arising from any of the following acts. And we go down here to 6, which is causing injury to persons or property within this state arising out of an act or omission by the defendant outside of this state if, at or about the time of the injury, either A, the defendant was engaged in solicitation or service activities within this state. Now, I would think, and I did ask an attorney, YouTube, doing YouTube streams, would be a service. He's also soliciting money when he gets super chats. When he reads super chats that are defamatory, he is doing all of this and falls, in my opinion, and not a lawyer opinion, this is just me reading statutes, um, that he falls under the jurisdiction of the state of Florida, even though he lives in Tennessee. Yeah, Spectre. The thing is, they will have to find some case law. Leslie will have to go and find some case law in the state of Florida that would show YouTube being. Yes, yes, Spectre, I haven't gotten that far with the Calder test. This is just the stop. Yes, he did that. That actually goes into the counts more than it does the jurisdiction, Spectre, the Calder test. Um, But according to statute in Florida, he can be nailed for this. All right. So then we go down here to the parties. Of course, we have Leslie, who she resides in Orange County, Florida. She's not a reporter, nor did she ever seek to gain a significant following on YouTube or her YouTube channel. With only 7 followers, was used to post interviews at the request of acquaintances. Plaintiff earns a living by assisting her husband and his law firm with legal research and drafting and by consulting with licensed Florida's attorneys. The defendant, first one, Jeremy Hales, who sounds like really kind of a prick. I'm not going to go into all of the background about what the Hales have been up to in this stream. We're just going to go with the complaint. I will probably put a video, or I'll do a stream over on my Vickyverse channel, because I kind of want to keep this channel more contained towards ComicsGate. I know that sounds really weird. So, we have the defendant. Jeremy Hales is an individual believed to reside in Summit County, Ohio, for the same reason he would be subject to jurisdiction, just like Tug, under 6A. Hales owns and operates a YouTube channel with over 750,000 followers where he regularly reports on lawsuits he files against various individuals, document disputes he initiates with neighbors, and frequently disparages attorneys representing parties adverse to him, including making fun of their appearance, religious backgrounds, and other personal characteristics. My God, it just sounds like ComicsGate. Hale's audience is primarily rural with additional international reach. His content has led to injunctions for protection by various targeted third parties, in which the defendant Hales and defendant Rizik publicly mock unpublished videos. Defendant Martha George Rizik, also known as George Hales, is an individual believed to reside in Summit County, Ohio. Rizik is a frequent collaborator and associate of defendant Jeremy Hales and regularly appears on Hales' YouTube channel and related social media. I'm going to skip through some of the rest of this. They engage in coordinated harassment. Elephant Shoes is Jeremy Hale's business. Then there's this guy, Jason Hipsher. He's an individual believed to reside in Florida and is a YouTuber with a substantial amount of followers who reports to Live and Associates of Hales. I'm not sure what Live is. I guess that's their channel. Megan Fox is an individual believed to reside in New York State and is a YouTuber with a substantial amount of followers. She reports to Live and Associates of Hales. John Doe, also known as Matthew Lewis, aka that umbrella guy, is an individual believed to reside in Florida and is a YouTuber with a substantial amount of followers. Typo here, he reports to Live and Associates of Hale. I don't know why we have a John Doe for umbrella guy. It's really simple. All you have to do is Google real name that umbrella guy, and boom, there he is. Kay Brady says he can't believe Tug hangs out with Megan Fox. Well, I can, because she's kind of trash. Megan Fox wrote the letter that she sent to the judge to support Nick Rekieta at his sentencing hearing, and man, was that a ball licker of a document. She used to have credibility, at one point in time. She did, but it's all gone now. And no, Hargrave, she's not a lawyer. She's streaming with Tug over on Tug's channel. It is so cringe, my dear. It is so incredibly cringe. Now we'll move on to the factual allegations. On or about April 20th, 2025, this all happened fairly recently. Plaintiffs observed a disturbing post on Facebook concerning a mutual acquaintance who was a reporter. Out of concern, plaintiff notified the acquaintance about the post. Plaintiff is a retired lawyer who assists her husband with his law firm. Plaintiff is not in the business of reporting. The acquaintance subsequently, I'm sorry, I'm on a little bit of cold medication, requested the plaintiff interview him regarding lawsuits filed by defendant Hales because the plaintiff was a former attorney who understood the legal case better. Plaintiff agreed to conduct the interview and maintain neutrality, posing questions to the acquaintance in his capacity as a reporter. At the request of this acquaintance, Leslie also attempted to contact another reporter, Megan Fox, who had previously reported favorably on Hales, seeking to present a balanced perspective. On April 27th, Leslie emailed Fox to schedule an interview but received no response. That was your first mistake. First mistake. Because Megan and Tug being connected at the hip, doing their dirty deeds together, that was just bound to lead to, one, a lot of attention to your interview, Leslie, and two, the start of the harassment campaign. On May 6, plaintiff conducted the interview, maintaining neutrality and objectivity throughout. On or about the 13th of May, Leslie was directed to a Facebook group titled What the Hales, where she observed herself being attacked by group members who were supporters and followers of Hales and Risk. False and defamatory statements were published about plaintiff, including assertions that she was knocked up by her acquaintance, despite being a married woman, that she was an idiot, and that she was a disbarred attorney. You can call her an idiot. I know. Plaintiff also witnessed defendants in the lawsuit filed by Hales being targeted in the group with hateful language, threats, and posts intended to damage their reputations. These included accusations of criminal conduct, ridicule of their appearance, anti-Semitic remarks, among other hateful content. Plaintiff was provided with extensive video footage of Hales and Risk, which had been published on Hales' YouTube channel. In these videos, Hales stated that he was not filing lawsuits for justice, did not care about court opinions, and was filing lawsuits solely to keep defendants tied up in court and to drain and ruin them financially. God, that kind of sounds like Poulter. Hales expressly stated that litigation was about destroying the lives of those he sues, and he broadcast these statements and his ridicule of defendants to his audience of over 750,000 followers. Additionally, Leslie saw on Hales' YouTube channel thumbnails and video coverage where Hales referred to defendants in his lawsuits as criminals, mocked their appearance, and made anti-Semitic remarks. Leslie was subsequently invited by YouTube reporters who were also named defendants in Hales' lawsuits to participate on their shows. Leslie conducted another interview in which these defendants notified Leslie that they were being attacked by Hales and Risk, causing them harm and needing to voice their side of the events. Following plaintiff's participation in these interviews, the Facebook group, What the Hales, resumed publishing false written statements that Leslie was a disbarred attorney and made fun of her appearance, among other insults. On the 18th of May, Jay Hip hosted a live YouTube broadcast during which he mocked plaintiff's appearance and falsely stated that she retired to avoid disbarment. On May 19, 2025, Hales and Risk host a live video on their channel soliciting donations and publishing false statements about plaintiff, including the claim that she retired only to avoid disbarment. During this broadcast, Hip participated and discussed plaintiff, repeating those defamatory statements. Immediately following this live broadcast, Leslie emailed defendant Hales a cease and desist letter attaching an affidavit from her state bar, confirming that her retirement from legal practice was not to avoid disbarment. Hales responded, "See you in court." On or about May 25, defendant Megan Fox and defendant Umbrella Guy began publishing comments about plaintiff's private life for an audience on YouTube. They continued to publish daily broadcasts in which they insulted, belittled, demeaned, and made false statements about Leslie, spending the majority of their broadcasts discussing plaintiff's life. Now, this is not new for Tug. When Tug goes in on his content, he goes all the way in. And the more drama and the more lies, especially about women, that he can put forth on the internet, he will. Just look at how many Amber Heard, Johnny Depp videos that man did. Over something like 400 of them. Right? Like a lot of goddamn videos. And I went over to Tug's channel and I looked, and there it is. There's dozens of these. Every day he's talking about the Hales. He's talking about Leslie. They're talking about all the other defendants in the Hales lawsuits. But it's what he was doing before. And it's crazy because back in the day, when he was going after Ren, when he started going after me and SJW Cap, he would do these live streams, these long live streams, where he'd get all these donations because he'd be lying about how we were harassing them, stalking them, filing false police reports, swatting them. And he would do it all in the middle of the night on live streams that he would then immediately private. So unless you were monitoring that man's channel 24/7, you couldn't even find the accusations. You didn't even know he was accusing you of shit. But you'd have people just going after you on Twitter. Tug always had me blocked, so it was always his little followers. Suddenly you'd wake up one day and there'd just be, 40 notifications, and it would all be these Tug-tards. So now he's just doing it openly with these short algorithm-friendly videos and his regular live streams with Megan Fox. Yes. Yeah. Bashing mailboxes. Postal gave his best. He gave his all for ComicsGate. No plunge cast. We are talking about Tug at the moment. You'll have to... Sorry. Liam will be next. Thanks. So, Fox stated that Leslie created revenge porn about Fox. However, the revenge porn reference was created by a third party who was already mentioned in a lawsuit, and it was public record. And asked them, plaintiff merely conducted an interview with the defendants in that lawsuit and asked them about the allegations against them, which is how the video was discussed. Additionally, the video in question was satire and not considered revenge porn. According to Stu, this meme that she is complaining about, that Megan Fox is calling revenge porn, sounds very much like war campaign memes of old. Apparently it's a photo of a guy getting his dick sucked, and Hale's head and Megan Fox's head were pasted on top. Maybe it was more Big Daddy. It sounds like it has a bit more of the Joker spirit. But, so that's what this was. That is what Megan Fox is calling revenge porn. Which is weak. Weak as... yeah, it's not revenge porn. Not in the slightest, from what I understand. And like I said, I will cover this more next week. I did not have time. This just came up way too quickly. The defendants recruited supporters and followers to create online hate sites about plaintiff and continued to harass plaintiff daily through these social media posts and hate sites. Leslie was forced to delete all of her social media accounts to avoid seeing them, and clients began to ask her why such sites were being published against her. Defendants assisted and recruited followers to alter plaintiff's photographs, making her appear as a clown. That all is pretty much free speech. I don't think that particularly will hold up, unless they were literally, posting literal private pictures and not things that were already on the internet. All defendants profited from plaintiff's private life, personal information, false statements, and image. And yes, they have. They're getting YouTube ad revenue, stupid chats, lots of stupid chats. So her cause of action. Count 1, defamation, libel, and slander. She repeats everything, which is pretty much what we had before. So we have Hales claiming that she was knocked up by an acquaintance and stating that she was a disbarred attorney. This is actually the worst bit of what they've done. They've done two things that fall under defamation. They accused her of committing a crime, which would be the revenge porn. And they also have been stating that she's a disbarred attorney. That is interference in her business. Under statute in Florida, that does count as defamation. If you go after someone to hurt their business, which is obviously what they're doing. If she's not disbarred, they have proof that she wasn't avoiding disbarment and that she could just, she's a licensed attorney. She's just not practiced. This is just, this is like this is totally hoisted by your own petard and doing something dumb and saying something beyond stupid and malicious, because all of it is malicious. So you have all the same thing about the disbarment, that she retired to avoid disbarment. And of course, Megan Fox and Umbrella Guy have been saying the exact same thing. I'm not going through the whole thing, Will. I know it's 42 pages. So basically that's pretty much what you get as we go on down here. We get invasion of privacy. But we're going to scroll down just infliction of emotional distress, which she had in there twice. Negligent infliction of emotional distress, cyber stalking, which there is a statute for this. So, acting individually in concert, engaged in a pattern of willful, malicious, and repeated conduct directed at plaintiff in Florida through electronic communications and social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube. Cyber stalking is another one that I looked up here. And it is harass means to engage in course of conduct directed at a specific person, which causes substantial emotional distress to that person and serves no legitimate purpose. Cyber stalk means to engage in a course of conduct to communicate or to cause to be communicated directly or indirectly words, images, or language by or through the use of electronic mail or electronic communication directed at or pertaining to a specific person. It's to access or attempt to access. It has absolutely nothing to do with it, but I would personally, and if I was on a jury, would consider daily videos, constant Twitter posts on Facebook, to be harassment. I don't know what all they have done as far as going through her personal accounts, but there you go. So, also, there's civil conspiracy. They're all working in concert. And look, how familiar is this? Tortious interference with business relationships. This goes back to the defamation and libel, right? The defamation going after her business, which is just under statute, not something that Tug should have been considering. So we have all of this. Defamation, defamation per se, invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, cyberstalking and harassment, civil conspiracy, tortious interference with business relationships, publication of private facts. That would be the cyberstalking portion of it. Portrayals in false light, and damn, that was a I didn't save the PNG after I fixed that typo. Appropriation of likeness, assault and threats, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and stalking. If you need, I'm always available to proofread these kind of documents. My rates, they're good. Contact me. We will make sure that we don't have 2 counts of intentional infliction of emotional distress. So, hello, Spirit Jr. Yes, that umbrella guy is getting sued. Well, it is DNV Investigations without the D at the moment. Sorry. He's gone. So yeah, there's Tug. This is what's happening and gonna happen to Tug. I am so here for this. Man, if anybody needs to know where to find him, you can contact me as well. I am more than happy to share. I am so more than happy to share. So, no, Big Daddy, Spirit will not be my new co-host. I love the man, but I that would just be a disaster. I'm sorry. It just would. So, I'm sorry. So, today, next, because I hate you all, we are going to be going somewhere again.
It's fun, sir.
Now, somebody later on tonight will probably be e-fapping fucking Liam. It'll probably be Risey. You know, that seems to be his new job. Right? Right?
So, Jimmy, I won't keep you very long, my friend. So you're a Christian, right? So am I. This is my Bible. See this? Used to have it on my belt there, my sidearm, you know. But I'm reaching out to you now as a Christian brother, as a fellow ComicsGate king, okay? And I'm giving you an option. So a lot of people were hoping to get a 40-page colored book. Now, I am not at a position where I'm able to reliably color all of my own projects and pay for the art production and everything like that. But I do have a huge stable of colorists that, you know, I have access to and can potentially work for me. So I'm giving you the following option. Within 48 hours, contact me on the following number. On the following number. Sorry, it shows my age, doesn't it? Telling me that you are willing to work with me. All I will require from you is the line art for the pages and the cover. What I will do is I will have this produced. I will fund it and send it out to essentially everyone. I will do the labor. I will weather the costs. I will do all of this. Now, anything additional then, after expenses will be paid to you as additional funding. This will be after any additional funds are used to reimburse people from your first campaign who have not yet received their books, like Surlock here. Okay, the books will be fully colored. I will get my team onto it, and we will do it and have it.
His team, people. His team. Liam, sitting in his closet. His team.
Done. So that's your first option, Jimmy. And I'm offering this to you as a friend. I don't really want anything from it. In fact, this is a huge pain in my ass. Okay. But I do have a couple of colorists who are looking for work. I do have access to Spartan Scotsman, who is arguably the most organized, on top of it, and headstrong colorist that we've got in the ComicsGate space. I can.
It took Scotsman 2 years to do fucking Xenotype, man. Don't tell me that he's on top of it. Don't tell me anything like this, because we all know this is not true.
Probably tap him and say, hey, if we need extra people.
No, Richie, he no longer lives on that property. He built the shed and had to leave, unfortunately.
But it's a 40-page book. Easily enough done, easily enough funded, easily enough fulfilled with my shipping deal will not be a problem. The fact that
But so earlier, in case you missed it, he said he didn't really have the funds to do all this shit, but he'll put his team on it. He's got his shipping deal. Cause he can. This is the most amazing shipping deal I've ever heard of. According to Liam, he can send a package from Australia to Ohio cheaper than I can from North Carolina. Really? I had to get that in there.
of the matter is, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Too many people put their name on it. Too many people put their reputation on it. And it's not just Jimmy that's hurt. It's the backers, and the backers have been hurt enough. The backers have been hurt enough. We're forcing them to wait on books that are so that we have the luxury of doing them the way we want, which is why they're coming out great. But that should be as much as we ask. We shouldn't also be asking for them to just put up with, like, someone going, there you go, and walking away, in my humble opinion. So I will fix it.
He'll fix it. Liam will fix it because he's a ComicsGate king, people.
If he's too proud, I won't give him a choice. There you go. It's going to happen my way or your way, Jimmy. What's it going to be? Either way, it's happening now. Someone's on Kings. I feel like they've got a responsibility to go an extra mile, to do the extra. They're someone who has sort of proven themselves and has gotten a spotlight and is representative of us as a movement. And I don't want to see Kings not fulfilling books, leaving people in the lurch. I don't want to see that. Has anyone actually talked to Jimmy, tried reaching out to him after he left Kings and didn't respond? I don't have his contact information. That's why I said, hey, Jimmy, when you see this, contact me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you forth like the armies of Zod, as it was in the before times. You will go out onto social media and you will spam Jimmy Reyes. You will go to his channel, his videos, and you will say, Liam wishes an audience with you. You must contact him. You must come before the Koala King. He has 48 hours. Make it so. Not everyone is cut out to be their own business. Don't let the failures of others become your.
So, he will publish it himself if Jimmy doesn't fulfill his books. Imagine. I will just take your scans and I'm going to add them as an add-on book to my Dino King campaign. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, Monkey Man. Maybe he can publish Rainbow the Goddamn Brute while he's at it. Maybe Liam can give us Sovereign or Handyman. Right? Maybe Liam, since he's a ComicsGate king, can use his connection to Ethan to get in touch with James Dean Anderson, and he can finally fulfill Conflict Clause Out from 2017. Right? Jesus Christ, Liam, why is this your business? What is up? I'm going to go ahead and we're going to finish the video, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about this.
Responsibility. Yeah, it's true. But I think about like the backers and shit, guys. Like, you know, I'm not... I don't want you guys to lose faith in the system. The system works. The system is good. It's just certain people aren't cut out for it. But normally those people wouldn't get $50,000 campaigns, you know, and then
Rainbow the Brute is how late now, people? He's finally fulfilling Fearsome. And Liam is talking about how the
700 people getting angry. And it's like, I don't want people to think that it's something that I just dismiss or hand wave away like I don't care. I want people to get their books, you know? I want people to like have their stuff, you know, ideally. If someone fails, I don't want it to be because of financial issues. I'd rather it be because people didn't like what they got. You know what I mean? Like that, to me, is the ideal justice. 48 hours. I'm going to track this. Yeah. 48 hours. You got 48 hours, and I need you guys to go forth. Go forth to Jimmy Reyes' social media and send him the stream and say, Liam demands contact within 48 hours, or wheels will be set in motion. Wheels will be set in motion.
It gets worse. The stream got worse because it wasn't just Jimmy Reyes. Yeah, I'm sorry. It is Dark Harvest.
Now,
you're right. You're right.
This is where the ultimatum thing happens, Jimmy. If you don't do that, Jimmy, this is what's going to happen. If you do not provide me within 48 hours with confirmation and with the pages that I need, you know, you can send them over within a week, but let me know within 48 hours. If you do not do this, Jimmy, this is what's going to happen. I am going to get the line art of all of your work anyway from people that already have the black and white versions of the book. I will have scans sent to me, high quality scans. I will then have the book colored anyway. I will then release it as an add-on or a stretch goal from my Dino King 2 campaign, and it will be given out for free to everyone who gets 5 referrals for Dino King 2. That's what will happen, Jimmy. I will completely rewrite it as a parody. And that is what will be known as, I don't know, like let's call it the Dragon King crossover cover. That's what I will do. And if you're thinking,
unfortunately for Liam, you can't just rewrite the book as a parody using somebody else's art. That's not how parody works. That's not how copyright works. Which is a running theme in ComicsGate, actually. Yeah.
And where's this stunt coming from? This isn't even the first time I've thought about this. I very nearly just straight up said, yeah, I'm going to do the Pit Omnibus. Fuck it. You know, like I could if I wanted to. It would not be hard. You know, it would not be hard at all. Not with modern resources. I could easily put everything together and do it and just go like, I'm doing it. And if Dale Keown comes and sues me, I'll be like, nah. And if he doesn't, just give him all the money. You know, like, fuck it. Who cares? Who cares? I'm sick of people fighting over stupid shit. Stupid shit, you know, stupid shit. Rob Hunter needs help according to his last comment on Indiegogo. At least Rob hasn't completely run off yet. Let me have a look. Rob, what's the name of his campaign? It was something Hunter, right? Rob Hunter Indiegogo. Let's have a look.
So, the rest of this, it turns out Rob is having difficulties with his printer. Um, and the book has caused him some financial was it Rob? Yeah, one of them. It was Jimmy or Rob. Why he was so confusing to listen to. But Rob is having difficulty with his printer. His printer hasn't gotten back to him, but Liam can handle it because Liam has the greatest printing deal as well.
I can't fix everything, guys. I can't fix it all. I don't have enough money. You know what I mean? I don't. Oh, this is Death Raider. Where are we? This is Death Raider. Here we go. Rob Hunter. What's his comments over here? Oh, that's not a good start. 1 minute. That's all this extra work. Not fucking being an editor, and then I've got to be an editor for CG too. All right, hold on. Unfortunately, there's been no update from my printer. I requested an update for the printing schedule of Death Raider a week ago. I still haven't heard from them. If I don't hear back from them soon, I'll have to cancel the print job and go elsewhere. I wish there was better information, but there isn't. That was 2 months ago. Jesus Christ. Okay, Rob, send me an email to Conquest Comics Official. Like, fucking.
Liam's gonna fix it for
I
you,
guess
Rob.
no, you need an American printer. Well, maybe you're probably going overseas. That I don't know. Let me know who you're printing with. Let me know who you're printing with and your budget. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can put you in the right direction. You shouldn't be waiting 2 months. 2 months to hear back from your printer. You know how quick I hear back from my printer? I send off an email an hour later. Oh, Liam, it's good to hear from you again, sir. Thank you very much.
Liam's only ever dealt with one printer. What the fuck is he bragging about? He's put out one book. We haven't, none of us have seen fucking Wonder Island, right? Oh, I'm sorry, he did put out Dino King. There was Dino King. Did he put out Dino King? Did he send Dino King? I don't know. I don't even remember anymore. Maybe 2 books. Okay. I might have been wrong, Liam. Right? But you can't. This performative bullshit for new CG, just like him hopping on that stream and demanding that Edwin obey him and drop the strike on Katie's channel, right? Now he's acting all big like he's actually shit just for new CG. This is all performative for Katie and Salty and all those other weirdos who didn't even have the balls to show up for Ethan's ComicsGate live stream. Oh man, right? This is because Ethan and Shane and John and the rest of the dorks on the ComicsGate live stream were mocking Jimmy Reyes. Okay, Jimmy seems like a really nice guy. Yes, there should be a Pornosaurus Rex versus Dino King crossover spectacular. It would be so good. It would be so good. Would Mandy fuck Dino King? Oh, man. So, yeah, I just lost track. So they all went after Jimmy Reyes. And I don't know why this was bubbling up so much. I guess one guy complaining he didn't get a book. And I understand that Jimmy overextended himself on that campaign. But it's very easy to do. I think the campaign was from 2023, maybe? Right? But even back then, it was so easy to overextend yourself. And I'm sure Jimmy was looking at money he was going to get paid by John Malin for that Omega Storm inking that he did. But we know John Malin probably paid shit. John Malin didn't. John Malin doesn't pay anybody any good money for doing work. He doesn't think they should get paid more than he did when he first entered the mainstream because it's indie comics. Never mind grabbing an oar. Never mind lifting other people up. Never mind the whole complaint when CG first started that artists should be able to live off of their art and make more money. Jimmy was in a coma, right, for during COVID. He'd had a heart attack. He had all these health issues. No wonder nothing was getting fucking done. Leave the man alone. I don't really complain that I haven't gotten Handyman because the guy had a heart attack, man. Elliot's out there, he's still drawing, but at the time, for the first, couple of years, I wasn't irritated because he'd had issues. It's not like it's not like they're going to the goddamn casino every weekend, streaming 6 hours a fucking day, bitching about Yellow Flash and Eric July, and their books are 2 or 3 years late. Jimmy's gonna make it good. He will. I don't think he's like Critias, who just fucked off. But God, all because Katey started talking about him and Frog Tony started talking about him. So Liam's got to come in and save the day, or at least show how magnanimous he is. Right? It's just too much. But what did make me happy was this. And this one's really brief, but it's pretty good.
By the way, Salty's Elephant piece is in the Cyberpunk Dark Harvest book that is shipping right now. We shipped 1,000 and change copies out, so many of you should be getting them. I guess in 2 days. I'd love to.
Wait, we're gonna. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong freaking button. Yeah, we're gonna look at this real quick. Look at this sad panel from ComicsGate Live. Look at that. Ethan, Malin, Shane, Peter fucking Gilmore, somebody propped up Chuck Dixon. You've got that Vasilis dude, and then down at the bottom, you have Word Nerd. Yeah. This panel inspires confidence. It makes me want to go out and make comics. It makes me want to go out and back comics, doesn't it? Yeah, Word Nerd. I know.
Elephant piece is in the Cyberpunk Dark Harvest book that is shipping right now. We shipped 1,000 and change copies out, so
but look at
many
John.
of you should be
getting
them. I guess in 2 days. I'd love to.
Elephant piece in Dark Harvest.
Yeah.
As an ad.
Yeah, John, I'm sorry. I tried to find your piece. I could not find the colored file in time that was big enough to print it as an ad. I had 1 day. So
he had 1 day. This book has been in production and being produced for how long? But he had 1 day to try to find a file to put in the print file. What a lazy son of a bitch, right? He couldn't find. How the hell do you not find? How do you not have that shit organized? Like, do people no longer use file trees? I don't know how he could miss it. It wasn't emailed. It wasn't sent. He just decided to fuck John over, and John knows it. Look at the look on his face.
This is the Elephant ad that is in the
because
Cyberpunk
John's
Dark
Elephant cover sucked ass.
Listen. First of all, congratulations, Sean. John, I didn't mean anything personal by it. Obviously, you're trading cards.
I was wondering why. I didn't know that it was like that. Now that I see the cover, I get it. But no, when you said that,
because it was way better than John's.
Pin-up, and I was like, why is there a pin-up of Elephant in?
Well, Sean did the variant cover for Elephant.
Yeah, I see that now. Yeah. I remember that cover. I didn't know that was Sean sold.
It's a fucking great cover. Is it better than your cover? No. Okay.
Yes.
You guys are. I'm not even going to say anything, but I couldn't find the file in time from Jason Wright to get me to get your piece in there. But we do have your Elephant card on the way. And by the way, I almost, because I've got the guys printing up my cards, and they had to write a new line for, because Black Riding Hood has a trading card coming out, and it's like, for once they had to change the line, the indicia, so that it says all characters are copyright and trademark John Malin 2025. So
Ethan Van Sciver was embroiled in a trademark lawsuit for nearly 3 goddamn years, and he still doesn't know the difference between a trademark and a copyright. The copyright is shared between Ethan and John for Red Riding Hood, right? Because Ethan is the one who published it under the ComicsGate banner. It's his book, not John's. It just is. So the trademark would be ComicsGate. John Malin doesn't have any trademarks. He doesn't own any trademarks. He gets the copyright for the art. I believe Ethan wrote the story. No, John wrote the story for Red Riding Hood. So John gets copyright, but he doesn't get trademark. And that Ethan doesn't know this yet is so retarded. Just so darn retarded. I know more about trademark and copyright than Ethan Van Sciver's, whose entire business relies on copyright and trademark. How does this work? I don't know. I'm going to move on to the ComicsGate Live thing, and then we'll do rackets at the end. It just seems to flow a little bit better for me. So here we go, the return of ComicsGate Live and the message sent by Ethan and John and Shane. See if we can all figure it out.
the ComicsGate Live going on. I've been excited about this for a while. Haven't been able to stream with you in ages, unless I go on your show, because you have declared a moratorium on trash. You're saying no trash cast. I'm with you on that.
No.
It's about
I'm on show almost every Monday.
Yeah, ComicsGate Kings, you know, I understand, but I'm surrounded. Sometimes it's like I just want to do one-on-one stuff with you and Shane, and you know, ComicsGate Kings is great. I enjoy it, especially enjoy drawing. But ComicsGate Live is going to be a restoration of what we used to do. We're going to talk about everything except for Eric July. That includes Yellow Flash. We are going to talk about him.
Of course you are.
We're going to bring in guys that don't usually get to stream with us. Guys like Peter Gilmore.
So they can backstab us.
They bring in Peter Gilmore. He's basically their Mandy Summers avatar for the night, right? It's the only reason Peter Gilmore's there. Fucking because he draws for Mandy Summers.
Later. Hey, Peter.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I want to know where the knives are coming from, Peter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like trying you very carefully. We're looking at you and going.
Yeah.
No.
Peter's been around a long time.
I've had 8 years to turn the knife on you.
Yeah,
no.
plenty of
No.
time.
If you haven't done it by now, like
I'm just biding my time. I'm the Harmer horror guy. You
The
know,
long
I'm just waiting for the right
con.
moment. Yeah.
yeah, it's like Rainbow the Brute. Like, where is it already? You know what I mean? That knife should have been in my back 5 years ago.
If
And
you look,
Rainbow the
Yes.
Brute should have been in
Yes,
mailboxes
it should have.
5 years ago. By the way, Salty says Jimmy Reyes is claiming to be a former comic artist and is not giving Bible lessons on YouTube. You're kidding me.
Wait, are you kidding?
It's hard to tell.
That's kind of common, it seems like. A lot of people like
Salty.
who's that one guy?
Quit everything.
Captain Cummings. That's all he does now. Is like
oh yeah.
Salty, send that to me if that's true. I don't know if you're trolling.
I think you hit a breaking point in CG, and it's just all God 24/7. Yeah, which is great. You know,
We drove
these guys.
him to Jesus. We drove him to Jesus.
Well, if you quit your talents, you have a lot more room for God, that's for sure.
Ryan, your mic is all over the place.
Is it? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
You're just
Sounds weird, dude.
Sounds like you're
Oh, is it?
underwater.
Oh, maybe I'll get out and switch. Maybe it went to my webcam,
all right. That's cool.
not the headset.
Joe Schmo says, get a real mic. Yeah, you definitely need to get a real mic.
Hang on.
You
Yeah.
go into your settings right here and do your audio.
Oh, I
I'm
can? Okay, that's
sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't have to quit
Fucking
the stream
Ryan, man.
No.
and make more room for God.
No, there's plenty of room for you and God. You know.
That's what Jimmy didn't understand. It wasn't one or the other. It could be both.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we need more nitwits on YouTube going through the Bible. You know what I mean? Like Mike and Edwin aren't enough. We need more. We need more retards who are
Look at
terrible,
Mike wanting
obnoxious
desperately to say
assholes,
something.
abusive pieces of
He
shit.
ain't happy.
Going through and explaining to us what the Bible means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Explain it to me.
We need
Not
a
enough
whole lot more
religious
of Jesus and a lot less rock and roll.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
guess.
God.
What?
It's true.
Has nobody been monitoring this?
No.
What?
Pull it up.
Jimmy?
Blood pressure?
Yeah.
Sugar levels? What do you want me to monitor
Are we
next?
looking this up? Are we looking this up?
Yeah, let's do it. I want to.
Look at these.
No,
thumbnails.
no, Jimmy, no. Oh, how God talks to Jimmy. Oh shit.
What to do when you don't feel loved?
Now play
With
that
Jimmy
one.
Reyes.
Oh man. On December 12th of 2024, I
got a
started to read my
haircut.
Bible when it miraculously changed my life.
Good editing.
Wait, when did it change his life?
December, like the same time he probably left the ComicsGate green room.
Yeah.
Yeah, did Jesus take the will on coloring that book and fulfilling it though?
He did. Let Jesus take the wheel.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm calling
No,
bullshit
you're
on
right.
this.
You're right. You're right.
I want to learn knowledge about God from a man's bedroom.
From a man's. It looks like an apartment there, a dimly furnished
What is
apartment.
studio?
Yeah.
I don't think I can listen to this, boys.
All right, Mike.
There, Mike.
Good night, Mike.
Oh,
We're
Mike.
gonna continue listening to it. All right.
Not feeling love. We need to be reminded that God does love us. We do. We have to hear it. And it takes a little while sometimes because we're holding on to lies of the enemy who is trying to rob us of our joy and our peace and to rob us of the truth that God loves us. It takes a
Dungeoneers.
little while to retrain the way that we think. So that's why we meditate on the scriptures, especially focusing on those where the scriptures talk about how much God loves us. He loves us so much that remember he gave his only son to die for our sins. That is love. 1 Thessalonians is a scripture.
Wait, did we not make him feel
Triggered.
loved? What's going on here?
I do not know, man. I'm like first of all, there are people in the chat going, why are you slamming Jimmy for this? No, hold on. We're not slamming Jimmy for this. This is strange. Jimmy disappeared after not fulfilling his comic book, and this is what he's doing now. It's a little bit strange. And then we don't know what's going on with his life. We never have. He's more mysterious than John Malin. Like I don't know anything about what goes on with John's life. I don't ask him. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But he's very mysterious, and then he's in another place here with in a room with a single bed, and he's talking about Jesus, and he took down his Twitter, he took down his Instagram, and he's talking about not feeling love. And I can't help but feel partially responsible for all of that. Every single aspect of that feels like my fault, John.
Of course,
And
because you're a
there's,
narcissist.
you know, all I can do really is just sort of laugh about it, but deep down, I'm crying.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, I'm crying out of my broken eye right now. My eyeball.
The part that I'm confused about was his last message in the ComicsGate green room, saying, "I found God. See you later. Bye." You know, I was like, that whatever that message was doesn't.
It was haunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haunting.
Shane's stupidity never ceases to amaze me. I don't know. Maybe this all had something to do with that message about God in the DM group. Jesus Christ. To go after Jimmy like this was just disgusting. And all they did was send this message that you can be a ComicsGate king, we'll treat you like a brother. The minute you're no longer sucking our dicks, we're going to go after you. We're going to go after a guy who was sick, who had a heart attack, was in a coma, and managed and found his way back to God, and we're going to mock him for it. while Ethan tries to proclaim that he's some Christian brother, right? It is the most disgusting piece of business, and what a way to bring back ComicsGate Live. You got John Malin, who can't stop mentioning the fucking Dungeoneers. You've got Ethan, who still brings up Yellow Flash. You have Shane just being a fucking idiot. Not who can't quite understand anything. You've got Ryan Wordnerd Palmer with the worst goddamn sound in a while. And then Gilmore. Poor Mike, though, man. Mike Barron's sitting there, and it dawns on him what's going on, and he just can't take it. He's like, I'm just dipping from this shit. Right? It took him a little while. Mike's older, but that was just horrible. And there are very few words, like, I'm almost left speechless by how incredibly demeaning and how they just had to jump on some sort of, or create, actually, maybe the Bash Jimmy train. And now everybody's going to be talking about Jimmy Reyes out there in new CG for the next couple of weeks. Liam can help you out, Jimmy, because they're all stupid enough to fucking believe that shit, maybe. Yeah, it's CG is a disaster, and it's crashing and it's burning, and no matter how hard Ethan tries to pull it all back together, nothing's really working. He's lost 9,000 subs in the last few months with this whole trash cast thing, views going down. It's why he's bringing back ComicsGate Live. It has nothing to do with helping people, except that it'll give Ethan another place where he can pitch his fucking cyber frog crap. And mark words, people. Ethan is gearing up for another campaign sometime in the next couple of weeks. My guess is it's gonna be maybe the Heather Swain books, or just an apparel merch, because he just did the apparel merch campaign. So I would say the Heather Swain books, or a second chance for Red Extermination. It's gonna happen. I don't ask how I know, I just feel it. It's the way he starts talking about smaller creators and promoting smaller creators. Yeah, so he burned his bridge with Rackets on Twitter when he posted that Keanu had kicked Rackets' ass, and then told Rackets that sometimes you should just stay off the internet, which is, rich, coming from freaking Ethan. So then he's kissing up to Keanu, who hopefully smacks him down, because, honey child, Ethan blamed the kids for the state of Rackets' house. Blamed his kids. And how that all works exactly is unbelievable. But Ethan said it, he claimed it, he decided that's the way things were. And where did that ding? Here, we're adding this to the stage. Brackets' poor little cat in that messy little house. Right? Well, it's not a little house. It's a pretty big house. But we've also got another one from Worski today. that he posted up on his Twitter. And this is something that, and I don't know why it's not sharing now. Here we go, add to stage. Whoops, add to stage. Nothing, no stream can go by without a little bit of Vicky Boomerang. This is a picture that Racket shared of his house. I don't know if it's a current picture of Rackets' house or if it's an old picture of Rackets' house. But if it's new, like Worski said, he's had a fucking year to clean that shit up. A fucking year. And they're still living like that. How do you make children live like that? It is gross and disgusting and just filthy. I'm how? It's just so wrong. Right? Walking over clothes, and it's not just I'm okay with a little bit of mess. I have no problem with a little bit of mess. You got some clothes on the floor, maybe thrown on the back of a chair. Things aren't exactly, super neat, but not dirty. Not filthy, dirty, and disgusting. He was on stream the other night, and his fingers were all fucking blue from huffing nitrous. And the house looks like that. So here, let me go ahead and flip the page so that I can read this to you guys. We have a narration of the body cam footage given to us by Null Arranged to have some people look at the body cam, and they all pretty much agreed. But what I want to get through here is, of course, the video begins with the officers ramming the door. We know all this from the affidavits that were and other evidence from the case. As they entered, the first thing they see is a small child, and the house is extremely filthy. Yes, we can imagine, because look at the fucking picture we just saw. The floors are completely covered in clothes and junk. In some areas, there's no walkway at all. You have to actually walk around on stuff to move through the space. The mess you see in Nick's kitchen when he shows it on stream is clearly nothing compared to the rest of the house. Yes, we just saw that. I don't think the police destroyed the footage. It was denied. It was declared never entered as evidence in the case, so getting it won't be as easy. Null can still sue. We'll see what happens. I have no idea what they're going to do about that. There's a kid downstairs, which we already knew. The nitrous tank is visible in the house. Nick yelling at from outside. Officer Pomplin enters a bedroom where other officers are photographing drugs and paraphernalia found on top of a red mini fridge. The fridge is used as a nightstand. We know that from the declarations and stuff. But what this document describes is the master bedroom is literally off of the main section of the house. It's not down a hallway. When I was a kid, we had a 50-foot hallway. There were bedrooms on one end and the master bedroom on the other. Like, I never even went into my parents' fucking bedroom. It was down the goddamn hall and out of the way, and it was next to my dad's den where you only went when you were in trouble. But apparently this bedroom is just sitting there right off the main area of the open plan house. And cocaine was found in the bedroom where Kayla and April came out of. And then here is Nick talking to Pomplin out front. And this part's pretty good because it's so Nick. Pomplin tells Nick, we want to ask you some questions, a quick interview. We want to get an idea of the layout of the house, where the nanny is at, and who all stays here. Nick, of course, what's your probable cause? Well, you have the search warrant. Cool. You have no probable cause. Are you willing to talk with me? Sure. You still have no probable cause. Pomplin says, I'm not discussing that. You've been given the search warrant. You know how this works. And Nick, looking like shit, says something again about them not having probable cause. And this, of course, is what he was repeating over and over and what the Franks hearing was all about. Nick gets read his Miranda rights. And then the cop tells him that April came out of the bedroom. Nick gives her name, says she's a friend. She doesn't live there. And Nick's like, well, she came out of the bedroom. I don't have lots of strange just friends in my bedroom. And when people go over, they don't go into my bedroom, says the cop. I don't give a shit what you do. I'm just asking questions, Pomplin says. And Nick, of course, you're making statements. Where do you stay in the residence? And he says, all over, because it's my house. Do you stay in the master bedroom? When I'm in there, I stay in there. Sure. Is that where you sleep at night? And Nick says, yes. Pomplin says, that's all I needed to know. And then he asks Nick if he can help him out finding the stuff that they're looking for in the warrant. And of course, Nick says no. Because no. And then, of course, they say they're going to be contacting family services because they found the dope in the house. And Nick claims not to know anything about it. And as we know from the stream last week, Nick would have told April to flush all the coke if he had been given a chance, but he wasn't able to. He then walks over to the squad car and tells the officer, I hope you catch gonorrhea and die. And before putting him in the vehicle, they photographed all of the sores on his arms, and he asks if they're going to arrest Kayla, and the cop tells him yes. But she gets to stay until somebody comes for the kids. Then he walks away from Nick and over to April, and April keeps trying to talk to him. He wants to make sure she's been Mirandized, and April says, no, but I want to ask. And he interrupts her, confirms that she's been Mirandized, and asks, how long have you been here? And she says, not that long, maybe a month. I'm trying to find my own place. So you've been living here? Yep. I stay in the sunroom a lot. The sunroom. I've known the family for quite a while. You came out of the bedroom with Kayla, right? April says yes. You were hanging out in there? Yes. Of course, she just admits to have been hanging out in the room with all the drugs. What were you doing in there? Kayla was sleeping and I was changing clothes. He tells her that they're executing a narcotics warrant. Another officer asks her, you were changing clothes in there? And she says, yes. You keep stuff in there? Yes. Now that's really weird. It's weird that he doesn't have a guest room that she'd keep her stuff in, or so they could at least pretend that they're not all sleeping together. And at that point, another officer walks up holding some shoes, and she has two pairs. I guess one pair is Kayla's and one's April's because she keeps her shit in the master closet. And then they ask where she sleeps when she's staying at the house. And she says, sometimes I stay in the sunroom. There's a couch in there, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. So sometimes I sleep next to Kayla on the bed. So Nick sleeps in his bed. He's already admitted that to a cop. Kayla sleeps in her bed. And April sleeps with Kayla in their bed. Why would you you've been Mirandized. You don't have to fucking say shit. And she's telling the cops that she's sleeping with Nick and Kayla. Nick tells the cops that he's sleeping with sidewindingly, that he sleeps with April and Kayla, and he's talking to the cop. He's a lawyer, and he's opening his mouth, and he's talking to the cops because he thinks they're smarter. He is smarter than they are. April is talking to the cops because she's dumber than everybody else there. And it sounds like such a fucking shit show. Right? But this is all just horrible. Kayla's the only smart one. Kayla, who says, I ain't saying shit. I'm going to sit here with my kids until you take them away, and I'm not going to talk. And she's the only one that didn't all the way through this. The dog is in the bathroom with a baby gate up, and it's just barking. Imagine cops roaming through this messy house. Shit, they can't even find the floor in places because there's so much stuff everywhere. The kids are upset. They had to break down the door, and the dog is just incessantly barking from the bathroom that it's locked in. Why are you locking a dog in a fucking bathroom? Because nobody's going to take it out when it needs to shit. I bet you it got put in the bathroom because it was going to the bathroom in the house because nobody was taking it out. So, also, this I thought was interesting because it was never mentioned later. One of the officers picked up a bottle of pills and says, this is paraphrased from memory, I wasn't able to hear what he said verbatim, but it was something like, I found one of the kids' prescriptions right next to the cocaine. It has the name Celeste on it. That's Nick's mom. So why is there a pill bottle from Nick's mom on their nightstand? She's not in that house, right? The dog's still fucking barking, and it's half an hour later. They finally did something about it. I have no idea what. I don't know if that was on the footage or not, because I can't really remember. The cops all think, one of the cops, did you see Nick's arm track marks all over it? So they're worried about finding needles buried in all that shit in the house. I mean, this is just horrifying. And they had children living there. And just so you all know, Ethan said this mess was all the kids' fault. And then his studio downstairs is apparently really bad, is worse. Just as bad as the rest. Just shit everywhere except for that one little spot you see from his camera. So, of course, we all know they find the digital scale, more snort tubes, one of which they never found in his car that he admitted that he left in there after he'd been driving his car with his kid in it. We covered that last week. They're going to get CPS to get the kids. Bottles, apparently, I'm getting down to the end here, but this one, it was just very weird. Master bedroom is, like I said, right off of the communal areas. Not all of the drug paraphernalia was hidden. Apparently there were just booze bottles all over the fucking house. This recounting by Robbie, is we head into a bathroom with a hot tub. Oddly, even though there's a ton of stuff in here as well, the floor is pretty clear of junk, and it's the cleanest of the rooms. So many lotions and makeup products are all over the counters, and of course more booze bottles empty and half full on the counters and windowsills. There are many windows in the entire house that just have booze bottles on them. At 10:30, we're still digging through the hot tub room. They head into some kind of laundry room, and it barely has any visible floor. Just piles of clothes and filled laundry baskets. Ethan said that should have been the kids' job to do their own laundry. There's a hallway window, and there are 2 bottles of booze, and right next to them on the same windowsill are little teddy bear figures. I cannot tell what kind of room we're in at 10:38, but it seems to be some kind of closet or bedroom maybe. It has shelves and more clothes and just a huge rack of so many adult clothes right in the middle. He digs through a random trinket box and finds another bullet inside that he takes as evidence. At 10:36, we find another safe, and the officer searches for Kayla to get the code, which she wouldn't give them. They had to break into it. And then we head back into the garage, and right before it crashes on me, an officer says that they found 2 handguns hanging out in the garage. There was a gun safe, I believe, in the garage based on the previous description, so maybe that's where they found the handguns. I was a little unclear on all of that. But just booze bottles all over the fucking house. It's so incredibly sad that Nick makes his children live like that. Yeah, just awful. But that's all I have for today. The image of Nick's house is just gonna haunt me for a while, because that's just fucking crazy. But I will be uplifted knowing that Tug will be served soon in this lawsuit. Honest, if you need to find Tug, I'm your girl. I am so your girl. But yeah, that just gives me joy. And I can't wait to cover it. And like I said, I may just cover all of that on my Vickyverse channel. You may want to head on over there. Link is in the description, I think. And subscribe just in case. Because I want to try to keep this channel just for ComicsGate until ComicsGate just completely dies or I can't handle covering this bullshit anymore. So, you all have a great night. I'll see you on one channel or the other next week. Thanks so much for stopping by, everybody. Good night.